Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 5, Round 4. We're here at Imola. And qualifying's already begun. I just started the stream and it kicked me off the lobby, so I've just joined back. Thank you for the waiting, and let's get into it. It'll just be me today in the commentary box, and hopefully that should be fine. We have 16 drivers today, the most we've had all season, so it should be a very interesting race. Dry quali, as you can clearly see. Not sure for the race, I think it should be dry as well. But yes, welcome along. It is round 4 of the Tier 2 Season 5 Championship. And at the moment we don't have anyone setting a lap time currently, hasn't set a lap time currently. We're 3 minutes in to the 18-minute session. As we'll see who is on our lap. Tigo's just starting one. Milano, I think, in his second race of the season. Gaming Cat making his first race of the season. Tigo's returning again. Carbro after a great P2 last time out. Still wearing the Sebastian Vettel tribute helmet. Hopefully we'll be able to carry that form out. Frankie, who finished P2 on track but got dropped down to P8 because of all these penalties, is the first one to set a lap time of 17.140. So that's the time they all have to beat. It's around high 15s, probably 16s we'll see for pole today. So as 1 minute 17 isn't that bad actually, as Carbro puts in an 18.3. Ned, who raced in Saudi Arabia, is returning again, same as is AC Milano. And Bram goes second now, exactly 100th behind Frankie. So those might be representative lap times for their first runs, but I'm sure we'll see them into the 16s soon. Josh Crabtree returning, just putting an invalid lap on the board and heading back into the pit lane. Jazz F1 winning the opening round, then 2 DNFs in the next two. Two DNFs in the first 3 races and 1 win. It's exactly the same as Max Verstappen this season, and he won Imola, so let's see what Chaz can do. At the moment, I think he'll go again as he messed up that lap. J4 Jackie Duda making his debut today as Seb now goes P1. Look at that, how close they all are. But then Jackie Duda goes 8 tenths quicker, a 16.3. He's really on the pace when the quali begins already and starting his debut off right. Smithy, P7 at the moment, a 19.0. And Tigo, a 36.1. Obviously, he will go again. Warren, I think he's raced every single race so far this season. And obviously getting that P5 in Saudi. It was unfortunate in Australia. After he DNF'd, he'll hopefully be coming back to try and get some more points. BCFC Josh, who missed out racing last time out, I think, in Australia. But came back to finish P2 in Saudi on his return to Tier 2. And then, of course, Kian Reynolds, who was really angry with himself after a very poor P7, is what he thought. After getting a second, third, to be outside the top 5 in Australia, he was a bit gutted with that. Hopefully he will be able to bounce back this time and challenge for the win, as he is the World Championship leader. I'm just sending the stream to the chats. And there we go. Right. That should be all in order. And we have 11 minutes and 40 seconds left of qualifying. So far, Jackie Duda in his debut is on pole by 8 tenths provisionally. But we've seen people like Chaz and Bram be setting 15 in the 1 minute 15s, a very high 15. So we know they're obviously going to find some time as Tigo's made a mistake. Warren's coming across the line now, I think. He's improved, I think, by a little bit. So he's just going right behind Tigo, who did improve to an 18.4 after that 35 he set. Arsenal, who got a career best quali of P2 last time out, but didn't have the greatest race ever. He's heading out again. Currently P6 at the moment. 10 drivers have set a lap time. 6 have not. Still waiting on, I think Imola to head out the pit lane. Josh is on an out lap. So who is on a lap? Warren, I think, was on a lap being validated. So at the moment, things are just keeping quiet. I'm not sure about pole sitters, but we have had 7 different winners in the last 7 races. We had 4 different winners in the final 4 races last season, and we've started off this season with 3 different winners of Chaz, Thies, who's unfortunately not racing today, and Bram. 2 out of 3 of them are brand new winners. 2 out of 3 of them are the Ferrari drivers, of course, with Bram coming across the line to start his lap, his second run. And he'll hopefully be able to find some time to try and get himself at least P2. As right behind him, Frankie's also starting his lap. He seems like he's going to be one to challenge because him and Bram were 1-2 for most of the race in Australia. Frankie just has to watch himself with penalties. That was his real downfall last time out. As Kim Reynolds has left the pits now. Championship leader, 40 points. 3 ahead of Bram. As Bram's just keeping it clean. Keeping all 4, keeping 2 of the tyres on the racing line, on the racetrack. And making sure not to invalid. There's a spin. I think that's Frankie actually. He's messed up. He has indeed. As Bram nearly found 2/10 into the second sector, keeping it nice and tidy through the final couple of corners. And then he just has to make his way down the hill, and he'll have 2 corners left before he can finish the lap. Making sure to take a tight line, go wide and make sure to not invalidate. Tight line again, and using all of the track, and he's split the rears up too much, and he's spun in the final corner, and that is a lap time that could have been good enough for second. Down the drain, he'll have to go again, probably for one more time, as he's got the Aston Martin of, I think, Chaz behind him. He's starting his lap now, as his teammate is heading through the second sector now. Penalties in 3 seconds, I think, are a bit high here, especially at corners like that, if people try to bounce over them a lot. We've got a Haas, I think that's Josh, or Seb, yeah, Seb. Josh went into the pit lane, so I'm guessing he must have messed up his lap. Seb, keeping pretty quiet so far this season, but he's up there. Top 9 in the championship if they won, and everyone else DNF, they would take the lead of the championship. So it's an interesting fight so far, as Kim Reynolds is now starting his lap. Hasn't been on lately much in the past 2 weeks after being on holiday. He comes to Imola still as championship leader, and that's why you need to practice, because he's spun in turn 3. And he'll have to hopefully go again. He started last, obviously, in Australia. He couldn't get a good lap time in, so he's really going to have to try again with 7.5 minutes left in this session. As Josh is coming out now. Josh, Ned, Gaming Cat still all in the pits. Chaz, here we go. Can he do the last corner right compared to Bram? He takes it cautiously. He takes it nicely. And he comes across the line now. The Aston Martin, he puts his car P2, half a second off Jackie Duda. So not a bad lap time, but still about a second off his time trial. So who else? Seb, who I think is on a lap, but he's lost some time. He's still pushing, he's still carrying on, and he's heading to the end of sets 2 now. Where, has he found any time? Nah, he's still half a second down. I wonder if Kian has enough fuel in the tank to go for a second run. Because at the moment, yep, Chaz has spun again. Seb is pitting now. And it seems like it's all keeping quiet again, as most of the people are in the pit lane. Tigo heading out now. Josh saying he's really struggling at the moment. Imola, I've heard some of you saying 2020, 2021, the track's been great, but on this game it just hasn't been proving to the driver's likeness. We'll watch Warren. Apparently he's done a purple set to 1, and even if it's not purple, to find half a second in the first set is always a good thing. So Warren, is now heading through sector 2. If he can keep it nice and tidy, and he has done that, so just taking it a bit cautiously, but he's really improving compared to last season in his rookie season. As the Alpine in front of him gets out of the way, he's lost a bit of time, but he's still nearly a tenth and a half up, which can get him ahead of Tigo. So he's battling with Tigo for P8, and if you find a few more tenths, oh, that's the grass, Warren. As I say, if you can find a few more tenths, he could maybe challenge Arsenal for P7. 2 corners to go, and he's got that McLaren all dirty, and that's the gravel. So what was looking like a cautious and good lap has turned into a bit of a scruffy one for the McLaren. But he's still going to come across the line. It won't be anywhere near what he needs to do to beat Tigo, but that is a lap from Warren. What about Frankie? He's just starting his lap now, heading down into the turn 1, 2, 3 complex, where I'm sure a lot of warnings will be happening. He needs to take a tight line this turn 1 and clip what looks like the Italian flag curbs, and he's done that just nicely. He's got a bit of traffic up in front, not where he wants to be, but turn 4, he gets out of the way. I think that is Warren. He gets out the way enough to, I don't think that will be investigated. But because of that, and not really attacking most of the curbs, Frankie's lost nearly over a tenth and a half. But heading into the second sector, he just needs to make sure he doesn't invalidate here or go too wide, and he's gone very wide. He's lost the rear bit, a little twitch, but he hasn't invalidated just yet. Probably one of the hardest parts of the circuit to get right. A lot of spins will probably be expected there, where Warren's going through just now. Right here. But anyway, looking back to Frankie, he's cleared that little chicane, and now he's just got 2 corners left, and I really don't think he'll be improving at the moment. He only needs to find about 29 thousandths to get into P3. But for now, that's wide into the gravel a bit, and I think that's the lap ruined. Yes, it is. How long do we have left? 3 minutes and 47 seconds. So Bram, the winner of last time out, P5 at the moment. Chaz, winner of round 1, P2 at the moment. 25 points for the Aston Martin. 25 points for Smithy. Bit of an underrated season from him so far. 2 P4s and 1 fastest lap. He's never got a podium before, and he's still hoping that he can and not be a Hulkenberg of this league. But to be equal with Chaz F1 heading into round 4, I'm sure he will be happy. Net 4th in the standings then. Joint 4th. So we got a Mercedes off, I think that's Carbro. It is. And we got an Aston Martin off in the background. I think that's Keir Reynolds. It is Keir Reynolds. He's ruined another lap. And he's going to be really not liking these past 2 weeks so far. The first 2 rounds were going very well, at least in terms of where he finished. But right now it's not going right for the championship leader. Jackie Duda in the pits. I'll just call him J4 from now on. Seb still in P3. If he started P3, that would be a very good result. As Smithy has just gone P6 with that lap time. Solid from him to get onto the 3rd row of the grid. 2.5 minutes then remaining in this qualifying session. And we still don't have a lap time from Milano, Ned, Josh, the other Josh, and Kian. Josh obliterates that curve, but obviously it's an out lap. Jackie's still J4 just coming out the pits now, so he will have 1 more run. Looking like a really good contender for the win in his first race. As Chaz and him are the only ones into the 16s at the moment, which is very confusing considering they were doing 15s, but then Track Evolution should be helping towards the end. But Chaz is in a lot of traffic here. I was going to say he's on a lap, it says, but I don't know if he backed off or anything. I'm guessing he did, because he did not lose 8 seconds and all of that. But big traffic where he is with 3 other cars, and we're going to be getting ready for the final runs now. As I think, was it Tigo? Yeah, Tigo's just gone P7, just a tenth and a half behind Smithy. As Carbro went up to P8, dropped Arsenal down to P9, and is in the grass at the moment. I think that might be his qualifying done. So, Arsenal on his outlap apparently. And he's got 1 minute 13, so I think he'll be able to go for a lap, but he's going to be one of the last. There's a Haas up in front of him, I think that's Seb, also on an outlap. So I think this is Chaz's last run then. Speaking of which, his teammate, Keir Reynolds, I think he's on a lap now, so we'll focus on with his teammate for now and focus up to Chaz later. So Keir, actually yeah, let's stick with Keir. A 1 minute 1.53. I don't think this is this a push lap? I really don't think it is, but Josh coming across the line, this is his lap. First lap on the board, it's good enough for P6. So look how close it is between 3rd to 6th, less than a 10th. Separates them. Arsenal, out lap. J4's just started his lap. Bram's round. So he's had a moment there, so that might be his qualifying over with. Seb, I think Seb and Arsenal will be the last 2 to cross the line. So Seb will make it, and Arsenal will make it. Right, Arsenal will be the last driver to cross the line, as Frankie, Smithy, Gaming Cat, and Josh are in the pit lane. So Josh will start P16. Kian Reynolds, this is his last chance. What about Chaz? We were just looking at him. He's invalidated. So this is it for Chaz. It's only going to be P2 as people are finishing their qualifying with the checkered flag next to their name. So what about Seb? He's just started his lap. Josh is into the wall as Chaz is retired and Josh is retired, and hopefully he doesn't get in the way. What about Carbro? He's backed off, invalid. Arsenal's invalid. So it's just Kian Reynolds and Seb, and obviously J4. J4's found 3 tenths. Kian Reynolds is out. So Kian Reynolds will start on the 7th row. Again, not a great qualifying for him, as Milano, Ned and Josh will be behind him. And we've just got Carbro. No, he's not. We've just got Seb. So what about Seb? We've found 2.5 tenths. Could he put it on the front row and beat Chaz? And he's still up by 2 tenths. I think he needs a bit more in that. But J4 on his debut comes across the line. Is it pole position? Of course it is. It's a 16.0 in his debut. That is an astounding lap for him. But looking further back, maybe that's a tier 1 level time. I'm not sure. We'll see. But for 8 tenths, surely he's the favourite for this race. But what about Seb? Can he get it on the front row? P3 will be great. But can he beat Chaz? He can beat Chaz by 0.02 of a second. X3PD V1 is on the front row. What a lap from Seb. He's put it on the front row and knocks Chaz down to P3, who will be joined by Frankie on the 2nd row. What a lap from Seb, and what a lap from J4 to get his first pole position in his first race. All came alive at the end of qualifying right there. So your rundown: J4 takes pole position by a whopping 8 tenths. Next up comes X3BD DB, and then Chaz, and then 4th to 6th covered by barely anything. Frankie, Bram and Josh. Then comes Smithy and Tigo and Carbo and Arsenal to round out the top 10. Then Warren, Gaming Cat, Kian Reynolds, who didn't manage to put in a solid lap time, and then Milano, Ned and Josh Crabtree not setting a time, will start in the back 3 positions. Remember, there is no, if I didn't say, there's no formation lap now, because in the first 3 races it has messed up the start. So we're going to head straight into the start. Let's see who wins. That is a bit strange how, yeah, a lot of drivers messed up their laps, but I was really expecting low 16s from a lot of them, not high 18s. And it's a bit cloudy for the race, so who knows if rain is in the air, but it is cloudy, as it was for real life. We shall see if it gets better or worse or stays like this throughout the entire race. I forgot how many laps there is, but it's Carbro's left. Let's get him back in. Thanks to everyone tuning in. Hope you're having a great evening. As we're just going to wait for people to ready up. And here we go. The lights should be coming on now. 4, 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go. And Bram has jumped the start. So he's already up into P1. And it seems like there's already a big crash behind. Someone's got caught up and it's one of the houses. It's Seb, unfortunately, with Frankie. 2nd and 4th, already dropping down to 15th and 16th. Bram will lead them away from his jump start. Chaz holds on. Kian has to go into the gravel. There's an Alfa Romeo spinning out. That's Tigo. So J4 technically leads from Chaz F1, from Josh up to 3rd. Smithy 4th. Gaming Cat 6th. Warren 7th. Kian Reynolds up to 8th as up in front of him. Warren goes into the gravel, and Josh Crabtree already up to P9 from last on the grid. Arsenal keeping his place in P10. Kean Reynolds has lost the rear, and that drops him all the way down to P14 as Tigo and Ned has had a moment there in turn 4. We're looking further front. Bram has jumped the start. Nothing was coming up, no graphics or anything at the start, so I had to be patient as Chaz F1 makes a mistake and spins on the opening lap, and that's him down, tumbling down the order. And Aston Martin once again have had a horrendous lap 1. They're 13th and 14th as Smithy and Gaming Cat are now battling. Oh, and they made a mistake. Smithy has been spun round, maybe he got tapped by Gaming Cat, but now he's dropping down the order too. And now Smithy's down in P11 and it's nearly 3 wide, heading into the second last corner. But out in front, Bram is going to have to serve that drive through as I think that's Connor. Dropping down because of his ghosted car. He's still not in. As Bram's got a penalty for speeding, as if it couldn't get any worse for his start. He's serving his drive through and now he's got a penalty for speeding. So Josh Crabtree up to P5 from P16 as Warren is up to P3. He's battling with Gaming Cat and he's onto the podium. P3 for the McLaren. Gaming Cat's going to try and come back at him with a better exit, but he has to stay behind for now. I don't think he'll be able to try and mount a move. He's going to try, but stays behind for now. Josh on the medium tyre. Let's look at that. 11 positions gained from 2nd to 6th. Great starts. Arsenal somehow up to 6th when I swear I saw him in 10th. But battling away Smithy and AC Milano. Smithy gets forced off onto the grass there a little bit. There we go. So top 3 on mediums. Gaming Cat on the softs, as is Arsenal. Sandwich between the soft runners is Josh, just staying behind Gaming Cat for now. And the other soft runner is Kean Reynolds. It's good to see that Carbo has joined back in. Unfortunate for him to lose out there at the start. Chaz F1 now sending it down the inside on Smithy. Thinks better of it and has to stay behind for now. As he taps the back of Smithy a bit, and Smithy keeps in contact for now, but he's going to get past him now. Obviously, he crashed out here this time last season in Tier 1. Chaz has at least done better than that. It's up in front. Kean Reynolds sends it on Seb. Seb tries to switch back. Can't quite do it. Good move from Kean there to regain the charge once again. It's another charge from the Aston Martins. They're going to have to do this race. But a 2-second lead out in front for J4. McLaren 1-3. Josh in that sandwich is looking further behind. Josh and Gaming Cat is going to try round the outside. And he just leaves Gaming Cat enough space, I think, as he's going to tap him and Gaming Cat spins into 3. That was inevitable. You can't really go wheel to wheel there unless you give full on trust to the other driver, and that was just not going to work as Ned has left the session now. We'll try and get him back in. Let's leave it on that. There we go. Right, Ned. I don't think he's even online, or I have him as a friend, but Gaming Cat's now out, unfortunately, because I had to invite him, and we'll see from Ned's POV. Gaming Cat's just retired, he's just given up, so that's probably a penalty, but hang on, I know what I can do. There we go. Come on, invite to game, there we go, right. Right, so no safety car from that from Gaming Cat retiring. 3-second gap to Josh as Chaz and Seb are now battling. As Chaz seems to have done a fair move on the Haas, and he's up into P12. Quite a gap now behind Carbro. As Kean Reynolds and AC Milano are battling, and the AC Milano might lose another position out to Smithy. As Ned's joined back, as Smithy and Milano make contact, Milano backs off, and Smithy gets the place, and he loses another place to Tigo. He's dropped down to P10 now, as that's a warning. Tigo and Smithy and Kean now on the charge. He's up in front. Arsenal battling Frankie. As Frankie, even though getting caught out with Seb, not even before turn 1, he's up in a P5 all of a sudden. But he's got 2 soft runners behind him. And Kean Reynolds on the charge with those softs. Chaz F1 getting caught in traffic. As Milano's the first to get a 3-second time penalty. As Bram still needs to serve that 5-second, which he will in his next pit stop. It's gone horribly wrong for second in the championship. As AC Milano gained back past Tigo. Tigo trying to hold it around the outside, but he can't quite do it. Good move from Milano. He goes off track a bit there, actually. As Kean Reynolds gets within a second now of Arsenal. And it seems like it's all keeping clean at the front. Until, no it's not, because Josh has somehow gained 2 seconds on J4. He must have made a mistake, because that 3-second gap has now gone nearly under a second. I just realised that. As Warren, 2.4, he's keeping with. He's losing a bit of time, but he is under pressure, of course, from Josh, who's trying to go up into P3. Looking further behind, they all seem to keep their distance, but now we've got a Williams versus a Mercedes versus an Alfa Romeo sending it down the inside, and they're still wheel to wheel, and Connor just holds off Tigo. That was brilliant as Kieran Reynolds gets past Arsenal up into P6. It's all happening, action everywhere. That was a great little battle between Carbro and Tigo as Arsenal, the Williams, has lost it, and he's lost a bit of his run. Oh, he's tagged Kieran Reynolds. They've made contact. I didn't notice Kieran. I thought it was Arsenal's gaming cat left the session, but he's out anyway. Kieran Reynolds, all that good work. Dropped down to P13 now. He made contact with Callum, who's lost a bit of his front wing, and that allows Chaz F1 to gain out of all this, and he's going to have to overtake a damaged Williams in front of him, as Smithy now gets a penalty. Goes around the outside, gets ahead of Smithy just about. Gets ahead of Arsenal just about. As he's dropping places, he's going to have to pit for a new wing, but looking up in front, 1 second, it's now 2 tenths. Josh has come alive after saying he's struggling for pace. This could be the lead of the race change. A battle for first, a battle for third. We're going to watch Josh at the moment. J4 using none of his ERS. I'll put the graphics on soon. But Josh takes the lead of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And what about Warren? Both McLarens losing out here. And Warren loses P3. J4 loses P1. Josh takes the lead as Arsenal gets a 5 second for speeding now. And up in front, Carbro. Oh, Warren, what's happened to Warren? Warren's lost his front wing. He's made a mistake, and he's going to have to chumble around for about a minute without a front wing now, as Carbro and Milano are battling, and Tigo has dropped off a bit, and Chaz F1, and we've got a yellow now. Bram and Seb, they've had it coming together, so it's not looking good for the championship leaders. It's looking brilliant for Josh, who's already got a second lead. Oh, it was a second lead. Josh, I think, made a mistake there. And we've already got a 3-car battle for the lead. Josh, the other Josh, has caught up tremendously on Jackie Duda, but he's going to try and have a little move. But now we're going to put the data on. There we go, 60% for J4. He's just saving it. It's barely anything for Josh, who's not wasting any time whatsoever. He gets forced onto the grass a bit, and he gets a penalty as well for that, as he goes round the outside as J4 lets him through, and that allows him to get up into P2. But that's going to allow, I think, J4 to get DRS now. No, but he's still going to try and come back with him with ERS, because Josh has barely anything, nearly 0 there. So J4 still wheel to wheel, and actually going to lose out a bit now as Warren gets in the pits because he has no front wing. So Josh up to P2, and the other Josh, it's a Josh 1-2, but he's got that penalty after trying to go around the outside as Kian is promoted up to P10, and Carbro and Milano are battling. And he's going to try the switch back on the Williams. He's going to try round the outside at turn 3, and not exactly wheel to wheel, but I think he's just going to have to keep behind unless he gets wheel to wheel with the rear. No, he smartly backs off from battling the Williams up in P6. Tigo on the back of him, and that's Chaz F1 for a spin with his teammate going through him and getting past. It's another spin, it's another mistake for Chaz F1, who's now going to battle with Bram as he gets him in a P10. As Bram does get ahead. Action everywhere you see. Chaz is not done with Bram just yet, and it'll be a big risk if he goes for a move there, but he's going to have to stay behind for now, behind the Ferrari. And for now, I think that's about that. There's a wheel to wheel there. Carbro and Tigo now trying to have a move. Tigo's going to try round the outside, and there's still wheel to wheel. There's still space being left, and this is a great battle. It's Frankie and J4. What's happened to J4? I think he's just lost the position, actually. Never mind. But yeah, Tigo and Carbro still battling. This is great. As they're still wheel to wheel heading into the last corner. They're leaving space. They're leaving cars widths. And that was a great battle between Carbro and Tigo. Brilliant to see as J4 really dropping down. Has he got damage or something? Because after taking pole position, looking like the favourite to win this race, is now down to P4. Obviously the guys in front of him have barely any ERS. But anyway, looking further back. Oh, it wasn't a good battle because it ended with Tigo losing out. And I think he's got Kieran Reynolds behind him, ghosting through after Tigo's made a mistake. And Kieran Reynolds up to P8. And this time, let's hope he doesn't get involved in any crashes as Bram and Chaz now battling. Chaz makes contact with Bram and spins off, hitting his front tyre. Don't really know whose fault that was. Maybe Chaz to the backed out, but I'm sure Bram may have turned in. I'm not sure. We'll have to see it after. But already in lap 8, it's already everything's happened. As Carbo's now got a penalty, a lot of penalties actually. I just realised. For Tigo and Carbo, Milano and Smithy and Josh. So Kim Reynolds once again not getting penalties. That's a warning probably. That's probably what's going to save him if we have a safety car late in this race. 100% chance of a safety car because we've had a safety car in every single race so far this season as Arsenal and Ned are battling for last place at the moment. And Arsenal does get ahead with that 5-second though. He's on the hard compound tyre. Let's switch it to tyres. No, he's not. Warren's on the hards. I thought that was white, not yellow. Right. We'll keep it on tyres for now. We can watch penalties near the end of the race. As Arsenal seems to be pulling clear of Ned. Warren in a bit of no man's land on those hards. Chaz after a spin is going to have to try and gain back that time. As Seb separates Bram and Chaz, who's trying to gain on the back of Tigo, is right on the back of Kian. He's not letting this one go without a fight. And Kian, who's already used up his ERS, we got a yellow. And is that Josh? That is Josh. He's made a mistake. He's spun, and that's going to cause, I think, a safety car. I think that was a VSC what I saw. I don't see any yellow car leaving the pit lane, so it's a VSC. So because of Josh's spin, it's a VSC to slow things down. And that mistake from Josh has lost him P2 to Frankie, who was nearly last at the start. He's back up in P2. Brilliant to see. And J4 and P3. So Josh down in P4. Smithy up to P5. Milano P6. Ahead of Carbro. And Kian will just stay ahead of Tigo. This helps Kian a bit. The only soft runner at the moment. Looking after his tyres. Hoping Tigo doesn't try anything. This doesn't help his teammate though. Chaz is trying to gain as Milano gets a drive through for speeding under the VSC as Josh has pitted, so I don't know if he had damage. I thought it was just a spin. As Milano also pits, and I think he'll be able to serve it as the VSC ended, so I don't see the Williams coming out for him. So he may have just got in on time. Yeah, as they're all pitting. Look at that car, bro, and Kian and all of them. So I think Milano had served his drive through. So the good timing there. Well, obviously he served actually because he sped when it ended. So Carbro, Josh and Kian will come out on new tyres. Milano will have to pit again, so that's his race ruined at the moment unless we have a safety car. Anything can happen in Tier 2. It could all change around in the span of a lap. Good example, Josh, who was P11 at the restart in Saudi Arabia, was P3 after about 40 seconds into the next lap. AC Milano gets a penalty then. Frankie 4.6 behind the Haas, who got promoted today, Josh. Let's add that in. J4 really losing time. Looks like his quali pace and his race pace are completely different as Warren gets a penalty. Seems like he's better on one lap pace than race pace for J4. But he's saving his ERS probably, because he's got the most out of anyone, I think. As Harrison, no, not Harrison. Harrison. Smithy's teammate, whenever he races, he usually has that ERS issue. Tigo, I'm not sure if he has it today, but he has it on at the moment. Carbo gets a penalty. Top 10 all on mediums with Josh and Warren on hards, and Kian pitting for... Wait. Did Kian also get a penalty, like a drive-through? Oh, he did. Kian and Carb and Milano. Oh, never mind. All three of them had a drive-through. My bad. So the only one who really pitted was Josh. Oh, that's going to be very destroying for Milano, Carbo, and Kian's races. Which have just lost a simple 20 seconds. There's 3 seconds for Arsenal. We're on lap 11 of 32, and the closest battle on track, I think. Well, I think it's between Josh and Carbro because they've just swapped. I think Carbro made a mistake and let Josh through. But I was going to say it's Smith. Oh, is Carbro... Oh, he's left the session. I thought he was out. Right, let me invite him back. That's the second time he's left. Probably his internet. I was going to say it's Smithy versus J4. J4 losing time. Smithy with no ERS to play with is still going to try and send it down the inside. And he's going to try and find the smallest of edges, but he can't quite make his way past. That was risky from Smithy with barely any room, and he's a day late and $1 short and has to live for another day. As into the pits is Tigo for the hard compound tyre. Is it a simple one-stop case of medium to hards? It probably is. But anyway, looking further front, Josh trying to get past Milano. It's an easy move, but Milano sends it and leaves Josh no room, and Josh has to go across. And Milano gets ahead, but he loses the rear, and he's going to try and force Josh without any room. And Milano's all over the show today. Really not a good racecraft from him though, but he still gets ahead even after all that. And Josh is going to have to try again. As Kim Reynolds down to last now after he pits for the mediums. Not been a good day for him, as Josh is only just finishing the lap. He's nearly lapping him. Smithy going to try again. Saved up a bit of ERS, goes very wide at the second last corner. Ram, P5, that's promising from him after having to serve that drive through at the very start. Seb, P6 after starting on the front row. Chaz, P7, so I'm hoping they're all hoping probably for a safety car. There's 11 seconds back. Milano versus Josh again. Josh just staying behind for now, and we'll hopefully get him on the DRS straight as Milano's got no ERS because his red light is flashing. Barbro still not drawing back yet. Anyway, here we go. Josh using his ERS, using DRS, and getting in the slipstream of the Williams in front of him. Which way is he going to pull out? Inside, outside. He goes to the outside, and hopefully this time he'll be far enough ahead to cover off the inside, and the move is done for the Red Bull. And Smithy gets a 3-second now, as he's lost about 8 tenths to J4 behind him. As J4's made a big mistake. You could see the rear wobbling out, and he's made a mistake. He's spun, and that's going to allow Bram to catch up to the McLaren. J4 really showing the big difference between quali pace and race pace, and he really not liking those mediums, as he's got Bram now at 1.3 behind him. Managed to catch that. Tigo and Carbro. Oh wait, no. Tigo's just overtaken Carbro's disconnected. Maybe his Xbox turned off, but Bram's now got a penalty, and Jack has also sped in the pit lane. That's the third driver now, I think, to do that. But Bram's got a penalty, I think, as he puts the hards on, and will hopefully be going to the end. Let's do penalty. Yeah, Bram has a 5-second, which he has to serve for speeding on his next pit stop, because I don't think he can take mediums to the end. And J4 comes out. Will it be ahead of Josh? Josh has got back past ahead of J4. Even after that spin, he's managed to undercut him. And J4, after spinning himself, will now be on behind him on fresh hards, and he's going to have to get used to them as he's sandwiched between Tigo in between them. Oh, and Milano actually as well, yeah. As Josh all the way down to Arsenal have penalties. Kim Reynolds down in P14. It's really not been a good afternoon for him. Starting, I think, P14 or 13. Chaz F1, still not giving up. 2 spins on lap 1 and about 8 laps later, I think. P6 at the moment, 2.3 behind Seb. They're all pretty spaced out. Smithy does the pit lane entry right and doesn't speed. Tigo with a penalty. He will be pitting now onto the hards. It does seem like it's a medium hard scenario. So he comes in. Will he be able to get ahead of Josh? As Chaz gets a penalty for speeding. They're all, a lot of them are really not liking this pit lane entry. As I think Seb also pitted. As Bram got held up by Seb, I think there. Smithy comes out the pit lane now. There's Josh. Where's Josh? There's Josh. Coming out, we got a yellow behind us. I think that's one of the Alfa Romeos. That's Tigo then. As Josh has got ahead of Smithy. So he stays ahead of Smithy, should I say, because Smithy was trying to battle Josh before Josh pitted. And Josh has stayed ahead. As Tigo, I think, made a mistake in the final corner. As up in front, battling Arsenal and Chaz, who pitted. So as we look from the rear of Chaz and look away from Chaz, he's just ahead of the Williams. And behind Bram, Chaz pitted and got that 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. So if he doesn't pit again, he's going to serve that at the end of the race. Right, Keane, he's up to P12, but after pitting for mediums, he's going to have to pit again. It really isn't his day, as we're going to need a safety car to bunch all these guys up. For some of them to need this. Because Frankie's now in the pit lane. So I think he should be well clear of Josh. So, P2 finishing last time out, but with 23 seconds of penalties, dropped him to P8 and actually last of the running order. P2 now, and well clear ahead of Josh. Yeah, well clear ahead of Josh, and well clear behind the other Josh, who still hasn't pitted. He really is looking good, Josh. Complaining about his quali pace, but race pace opposite to J4. Looking good as he's trying to lap Carbro. He's now down to last. Mercedes 14th and 15th. There's Warren and Bram. I don't know what happened there. Did Bram make a big mistake? For now, we'll gloss over it. Chaz has dropped to you, never mind. Chaz is on the back of the 7 Bram battle, and just in front of them is Warren. So J4, really not... I really didn't think this would be his race. This, what he's had so far. Thought he'd be battling, at least in the front, but he's made a mistake. Of course, Frankie gets a penalty. We got a yellow. Turn 1, but I think it's clear. Frankie gets a first penalty on those hard compound tyres as Josh stays out and for another lap with a ½ minute lead. He has got the comfortable advantage to stay out, but he should get in soon before his tyres go over the cliff. But at the moment, Frankie second, 11 seconds ahead of Josh, who's 1.1 ahead of Smithy, 2.2 behind his Jack, 7 seconds to Warren. Josh gets his first time penalty. So is that because of old mediums? Is that because he's pushing too hard? Will he pit this lap as Bram sets the fastest lap on those mediums, on those hards? So he's behind Warren now. This has been coming for about half a lap, and he's sending it down the inside of the McLaren. Warren perfectly positions his car to hold on to P6. That was great, as Bram's going to have to try again. Chaz watching all that unfold. Chaz has got ahead of Seb as well. Tigo 4.6 back, he's losing time. I think Arsenal's catching him, and so is Kian. Milano, Carbro is still not pitters. Ned gets speeds in the pit lane now. As Josh is in, there we go. So it will be the hard compound tyre, and those can definitely go to the end after Josh has done more than half the race on those mediums. Frankie's coming around the final corner now, and it should be enough of an advantage. This pit lane's actually rather long compared to most. But he comes out the pit lane now. You'll see Frankie in the background. You won't even see Frankie in the background. We got a yellow. That's one of the Aston Martins, and that's Kean Reynolds. Kean Reynolds has spun, made a mistake. Down to P13. I was looking at Chaz because Warren... Oh, we got another yellow further. I think that was a Mercedes of Ned. Yeah, going slow out the pit lane, I think. As here we go. Warren, who's lost the position to Bram. Jack, what's happened to Jack? No, he's being overtaken by Smithy, that's what. As battles all happening here. Oh, Warren, Bram, and Chaz now heading into turn 1. Bram... Oh, he spin! Oh, they both spun! It's real life again! It's a McLaren and a Ferrari spinning at turn 2! Bram and Warren, but this time they're not out of the race, but they've touched, they've collided, and they've both spun, and that's 2 free positions for Chaz F1 and Seb, and Bram and Tigo are now getting in on the mix there, wheel to wheel, as they head through turn 4. Ned, 3-second penalty. Tigo sends it down the inside of Bram. I really do not know whose fault that was, but we caught it, so we'll see after the race. Bram and Warren getting into collisions as Tigo has gained, and Bram has spun Tigo. Tigo was slow off the exit. A perfect 360 for Tigo, but he's been spun by Bram. I think Tigo was slow on the power from the exit. As whoa, I don't know what that was all about with Arsenal, but yeah, Tigo slow on the power and Bram spun him. Again, really don't know whose fault that is. Again, we'll have to see after the race, but all happening on lap 19 as Smithy, actually no, J4 and Smithy. Smithy has lost a lot of time to Josh. J4 gets back ahead of Smithy. Into P4. It's Josh, I think, has just, yeah, he's lapped the Mercedes. It's Chaz F1 up to P6 then. Got the gap to 7, closing in on the top 5. As it's all looking good for Josh. Don't want to commentate his cursor, but it is looking good. Started, I think, 6th on the grid. There we go. Yeah, 6th on the grid. P1 now. And Josh, who started last, up into the podium at the moment. Who's the biggest loser at the moment is Seb, unfortunately, who started 2nd. He's now in 7th at the moment, but obviously got caught up with Frankie. But even Frankie still gained 2 positions. Everyone's made 1 stop apart from Arsenal. He's going in for his 2nd stop now. I think Kian will be soon too. So everyone on the hards apart from Kian on the mediums. So we'll look at penalties. Everyone's got a penalty apart from Seb and Kian. And the closest battle on track at the moment is probably Smithy and Jack, but no one's within a second of anyone. 12 laps to go then, in what has been a safety car free race at the moment. Maybe it could be the first race we've had this season without a safety car, without 2 safety cars in fact. Every race has had at least 2. I don't see us having 2 in the last 12 laps, but it is tier 2, you never know. 3 seconds for Kian, so as soon as I say everyone's got a penalty besides Seb and Kian, it's now down to just Seb. So Chaz does need to get that 5-second gap to the Haas. That is the most... I've never heard of this before, but that's a first. Carbro disconnected because his trial has ended. I think it's 10 hours. He's left the game because his trial ended, so he won't get any points because he's not even in the points, but yeah. Oh, there we go, it completes the set. Seb now gets a penalty. Everyone in the race has a penalty, apart from really Chaz, who sped, so he can serve that and not get one, but that's it, everyone has a penalty. Wait. Oh, sorry, I was looking at my phone and we caught Chaz spinning. As I'm hearing J4 is in AI, that's why. As we got a yellow. Look at my phone now. Oh, right. Apparently my mic crackling on stream is... Just let me know if that's better. Josh got a penalty now. Is that better? Tigo's got a penalty now. He's battling with Warren. As he's made a mistake, I think, there, or he's just letting Warren through. So apparently J4 is in AI. I'm really not sure. Okay, thanks, Will. But he's in AI then. Well, this AI is catching Josh, and the AI is only on 60, I think. Oh, he's back in control. Okay. Yeah, that explains it then, why he was on 70% and not using it. So, he did say before the race, actually, J4, he was going to be in and out of it, which he really shouldn't be, but, yeah, we'll look at that after the race, but at least it hasn't been a dull race. We thought he was just going to be out in front, dominating the entire time, but at least there's an explanation. Anyway, battle for P3, 6 seconds and 5 seconds, as 2 people got a penalty there, Warren's one of them, but J4 round the outside of Josh, and gets the clean move done. Good move from the McLaren up in a P3. 1 second less of penalties than Josh, so it's good for now. And it looks like the podium is his for the taking. Most penalties goes to Tigo. I think Tigo was the one who got the penalty with Warren. And he's come out ahead out of that battle. That's all Warren. What happened there? How do you lose it in a straight line? That's all Bram. Bram has now caused the yellow. Was that contact with Chaz or Seb? Whatever the case, Bram's now lost out time. Chaz gets his first actual penalty of the race, besides speeding. And everything's happening again. 10 laps to go. Yeah. He was AI then. I know, right? Where is this safety car? These are saying no, Bram. Yeah, that mistake, I think it might have just generally been a mistake from Bram. But you usually lose 5 seconds in a spin, so if it was with Chaz, not sure. And there we go, he's definitely in control now. Oh, Warren, we'll get him back in. I think, oh yeah, his Xbox just shut off. Yeah, I think it, yeah. There we go. Yeah, last seen 1 minute ago. I'll invite him back. I don't really know why, because it needs time to turn it back on, but closest battle, Tigo and Bram at the moment as they start lap 23. Trying to read these messages. Trying to get my mic to not crackle, but yeah, if it's just a Twitch thing, then I can't do anything about it. Right, I think that's good. Right, 10 laps to go then. 6.1 seconds between Josh and Frankie. Frankie really gaining time on Josh now. Milano gets the penalty. J4 getting clear of Josh at the moment. And Milano and Kian battling. I think Kian's just been to the gravel. You can tell from his tyres. It's not been a good afternoon for the Aston Martin, who I think can still finish maybe 10th with Warren disconnected. Where is the safety car? We've had 1 retirement, and with 9 laps to go, we still have 15 runners. There's Ned's also left. So both Mercedes and the McLaren. But we know why Carborough's left. We can't really get him back in because Child's in. But I don't know about Ned. I'll try this. There's further front, Milano and Kian. Let me just invite Ned. Right, there we go. Seems like Kian's got ahead of Milano, who cuts the corner there massively. Kian really going to try and make these mediums go to the end, it seems. How long is it? He's had those tyres on 12 laps, so maybe, just maybe, he can get to the end, but his tyres are going to be finished. So, 5 seconds to Warren. If he gets within 3, then 10th is his for the taking, unless Warren gets back in. Tigo still battling away with Bram, as Bram did spin Tigo right here, actually, so let's see how this plays out. Seems like the gap's staying the same, around 6 seconds then for the front two. Warren said apparently his wheel just died or something. Hopefully we can get back in. Is he back online or? No, he's not. Right, thanks to everyone tuning in still. On lap 25 of 32, 7 to go, and I guess the most surprising thing that's happened in this race is there has been no safety car yet. But never say never, as Bram on the back of Tigo, 12 seconds worth for the Alfa Romeo. He's not going to stay P8 at the moment, but Bram's going to try around the outside, as it seems to be getting sunnier. Bram tries to go down the inside. Tigo holds his line. Very good from him, as Bram's going to have to try again. They've both got barely on ERS, so Bram's just going to have to stay behind and try once again, looking at that sister Ferrari engine. 3 seconds compared to 12. Wondering who's going to benefit from penalties. Smithy and Josh are the same. Jack, even without that 5, would be still 3rd. Yeah, top 5 would stay the same. Seb's still a bit behind. Chaz, 8 seconds. No. Milano now becomes the person with the most penalties. It seems like Kian's going to be able to get into P10 then, because Warren still hasn't joined back yet, unfortunately. But yeah, it'll be a point for Kian Reynolds at the moment. And of course, oh, Arsenal now is not, wait, I think Arsenal might be getting lapped. He is getting lapped, okay. So even being between 2 Mercedes who are left, Arsenal's still down there, and he's not disconnected, he's just being lapped. He should reappear. Oh, there's Jack! He's made a mistake! And where's Josh? There he is! And Jack has lost out. Bram, 3 seconds. Coming alive, these things now. We've got a yellow where Josh is, And Jack loses P4 to Smithy now. He's lost how much time he's left this session. Out of rage, maybe? I'll get him back in. I'll see if that was just bad timing. But that's sore if he is just left like that. Oh, there's Warren's on home, so yeah, he's joining back. Tigo gets past Bram, sorry about that. Arsenal and Milano pits. We'll focus on Bram and Tigo. I can just invite people like this, actually. J4. I mean, the guy's still in P5. I don't get why he left if that was on purpose. Oh, and Bram and Tigo, it's happened again. Bram once again behind the back of an Alfa Romeo of Tigo again. And he has spun. And we got a yellow. I think that is just Tigo, yeah. Yeah, obviously, right. Things are still happening, but still no safety car. I may as well give a shout out to Jack Pearson. Shout out to Jack. We miss you on the grid, and we're going to look forward to hopefully you joining back. I think around September-ish to try and fight your way back up in the standings. For now, Jazz F1's going to look forward to I think a P5 at the moment. If he keeps gaining on the disconnected Jack, but Chaz is actually under pressure from Seb now. So So Chaz, who's may gain a place from overtaking Jack, he's going to lose one because Seb is on the back of him. We've got a yellow now. That's the Williams of Arsenal. Warren's back in. A penalty for Ned. Wait, what's this? The track's full yellow. Oh, it's a safety car! At the end of the race, a classic EXFL end of race safety car. Josh is going to not like this at all. Frankie, with the same amount of penalties, is going to be right behind him. The safety car is out. And no one really spun. The last person I saw who spun was Fees. As Bram now gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. They're all pitting. Chaz is going to... I can't speak. Chaz is serving his penalty. Bram's got a penalty. They've passed the pit lane. Oh, this is going to be crazy. Oh, this is... Oh, wow, this is going to be so mad. Because it was so near the end of the race as well. Warren has joined back, I think. Yeah, he's back in. He's just passed the pit lane. And there's a safety car. So is Josh going to pit? Josh is pitting. Frankie stays out. Oh, it's going to be a hard runner in first versus a soft runner in, I'm guessing, second. We've seen this before. Oh, no. Let's check tyres real quick before penalties. Josh. He pits as well. Oh, what's that? I think that's Arsenal. He speeds as well. We're going to have a hard runner in first versus a soft runner in second. And Milano's retired, so he's given up. As Ned's back in, so he joined back. I forgot. I think he was. I don't know. Right, we'll see. As the AI of. Oh, Ned's left again. Okay. So the AI of Jackie Duda up into P3, and he's unfortunately gonna separate the pack. It's going to be Josh versus Frankie, and it's going to be Josh and the rest of them trying to get past J4, who's unfortunately going to slow them down, and hopefully they will not try to overtake at the restart because it will just mess everything up again. But let me just check the messages real quick. Yep, Kian and Carbro. Has this saved Kian Reynolds' race? Or no, Kian Reynolds, he's been lapped and he has to let them go. Everything's happening. I do not know what's happening. It's lap 29. Josh is right behind. Oh, there's a lapped car in between them. It's Carbro or Ned. It's Carbro. So this might give Frankie a little bit of breathing space, but Josh is so impatient to try and overtake this Mercedes. My guess is he's going to try and overtake him on the run up to the line and has to let him through, unfortunately. Yeah, look at this. Josh, why do you do this? Because now you've lost out a position to Kian as well. Stay behind and don't be an impatient git. Right, So we start lap 30 then with Frankie leading the race on the hards, Josh on the softs, J4 disconnected on the hards, Josh on the softs as well, and Smithy. Could Smithy be on for a potential first podium? Like I mentioned in qualifying, Seb is up there as well behind, I think, Ned as well. He's overtaking him, but will he have to let him through? Yep. These guys just do not understand as Chaz has just overtaken him, and the other one as J4 has lost out. And Josh, they all just don't understand you cannot overtake disconnected cars, unfortunately. If you're listening to the stream, any of you drivers, stay behind. Don't be an idiot. It's bad, it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. And the safety car will definitely be coming in on the end of this lap. We're going to have 2 laps of running, because that's what it usually is in a 50% race. So we keep up the 100% streak of a safety car in every single race. All the drivers, Warren and Bram are going to be the last one, and Tigo are going to be the last ones to close in. Will they make it to the safety car queue? It's going to be utter chaos in these final 2 laps. We have no idea what it's going to be like, but we just know these guys are going to try and overtake the lap cars. It's going to all get messy, and they're all going to have to let cars through. And I'm saying it now because I don't want to scream and shout when it happens, because I already know what's going to happen. I'll be surprised if it doesn't happen. Then I'll be surprised. Right, when's the message going to pop up? There it is. Safety cars in this lap. Right, we know the tyres. We'll see from the onboards. We'll switch it to penalties and we'll see how things go, because the top 2 have the same amount of penalties, and Frankie on the old hards is going to lead away from Josh on the new softs. J4 behind disconnected. Josh is going to have to try his best to quickly overtake them, and he's already trying to smartly or just impatiently. But in front, when does Frankie go? He hasn't gone yet. He's going to wait for the safety car to go in to the pits, and he goes now as Josh is going to try and smartly now overtake him. That is a good restart from BCSC Josh, and now he's going to try and apply the pressure to Frankie. Frankie's weaving all over to try and break the toe. This is for the lead of the race. This is for the win. Frankie and Josh can't quite get past as J4 has left them all gone. As Chaz F1 is up to P3. What is that? J4 into the gravel. He's disconnected AI car. There's a Williams there as well. And Josh and Frankie are battling for the lead. Josh has lost out a bit there. Someone's left because I'm not the host. It's Warren. I can't invite him back at the moment. He'll try and join back. He can join back actually because others can. But Chaz F1 is up to P3 with his 3 seconds as well. If these 2 mess up, Chaz F1 could be seeing something. It's an Aston Martin gate. Kian Reynolds is getting in the way of Josh and Frankie to help his teammate perhaps. Josh trying everything to get past Frankie. We've got a yellow in the background. That's Tigo who's spun. Seb's got a penalty. It's all happening. Josh, no DRS to try and help him. We'll have to try and get Frankie. He's forced him into a little mistake. He's gone a bit wide. No DRS because of these 2 laps. It opens on the 3rd lap, but we will not have enough laps for that extra helping. This will be Josh's last chance. There is Chaz. Here we go then. Final lap. Frankie on the old hards. Josh on the new softs. Chaz F1, do not discount him. They all have the same time. They all have the same amount of penalties. Chaz F1 with the fastest lap. Here comes Josh. Is he going to send it? Frankie holds the outside, the inside. Josh tries the outside, and he's going to have to stay behind for now. He's still got a yellow in the background. Josh trying everything to try and get his first win on return. Frankie trying everything to get his first win on debut. Frankie just holding off Josh for now. There is Chaz F1. Josh is going to try around the outside on Frankie. Frankie leaves him no room. He forces him off a bit. Chaz is going to gain now. Chaz has the RS. Josh has barely any RS. Chaz is going to send it down the inside of Josh. He backs off a bit. They don't make contact. Good racing, but Frankie forces Josh off the racetrack. And Josh is getting angry now. Chaz F1 spins off the back of Josh, I think. And that's Chaz's race in ruin. Josh, I think that's the last blow from him. That's the last attempt. Frankie's still making a mistake. No, it's not, because Josh on those new softs is trying everything still. And the race win is going down to the final couple corners. Frankie seems to hold it, but Josh is going to try around the outside into the final corner. He forces him onto the gravel. Josh going to stick around the outside, and he's going to try and overtake off track, but it's not enough. Frankie wins the Imola Grand Prix. What a race. Kian Reynolds retires, but Frankie in his second race wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Josh comes home for second after leading for most of it. Smithy gets his first podium in EXFL. After we were talking about it, it's P3 for him. Josh P4, he lost out at the end there. Seb P5, Bram P6, Warren P7, and Chaz F1 in the final few corners. Spun off the back of Josh. There was going to be so much acrimony. And Chaz and Kian for Aston Martin losing out. It's not the top guys we thought he would be today. It is Frankie winning out. Just ahead. I mean, there was some questionable racing on the last few laps with those defending and forcing off. We don't know who's going to win. But for now, Frankie is a race winner. And I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat. What a race. Let's get some reactions. Of course, Chaz isn't happy. He could have tried to move on Josh. Josh had so much better traction. I thought Frankie had a big enough gap, but then Josh just gained it in one corner. Better exit as well, newer tyres. But then Frankie and Josh went onto the grass a bit, and then he returned, and then Chaz went into the back of Josh, spun, and then Josh tried it round the outside of Frankie in the final two corners, and then he got squeezed a bit. He didn't really get left much room, so I'm not sure, but brilliant restart for Chaz to come up to third. Really don't know what happened, especially with J4. He was an AI and he still went off into the gravel. Wow, what a race. What a crazy race. We thought on like lap 25 it was going to be a boring no safety car into the race. Of course not, it's tier 2. And we got that classic end of race safety car. I think it was 4 DNFs because I saw Kian retire. I'm not sure about Arsenal. It says they're classified, but they got that, so. What a race. And this means big in the championship because these guys gain, the top guys lose out. Reynolds Payne, Frankie gain. Oh wow, what a race. And unfortunately it was between Josh and Chaz and they have had history in the past. This is going to be very annoying. So yeah, Tigo was 19 thousandths off beating Chaz's fastest lap. He just sent that in. Big pain for him. I would do interviews, but we really don't know who's going to win. So a lot of things happened, so I think we'll leave it at that. I think there's a lot to sort. Wow. Yeah, people are saying Frankie pushed Josh off track a bit. He didn't leave him enough room, maybe. I'm going to end the stream there. I'll tell you all about all the changes, of course, in the next race. We're heading to Miami, the new track on F122. That should be a really interesting race. And it was good attendance today, so let's keep that going. That's, I think, the one definite thing we can conclude from this. Crazy race. Josh will be gutted that he lost the win because he looked like he was going to win it until the end. Frankie didn't pit. And if things stay how they are, then yeah, Josh threw away the race win because he pitted and Frankie stayed out. But of course, people will have their own opinions on that. Chaz will be gutted after, if he finished third, he could have been level with Kian because Kian scored no points today. But being P8, he's only gained 4 on that 15-point gap between them. Now comes 11 at the moment. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you next time out in Miami. That's been round 4 of the Tier 2 Season 5 World Championship. What a race.